All right, Chapter 10 of the Contender on page 73. Okay. Chapter 10. Left, left. Snap it out, Alfred. Left, right, right, left, left, left. The first week was all pain. Steel claws ripping at his shoulder muscles, raking his arms. The sweat rolled off his forehead and flooded his eyes, but they wouldn't let him stop to brush the sweat away. And left, left. Snap it out. Even as his reflection grew hazy in the full-length mirror. Keep punching, they yelled. Faster, harder, more. Your arms hurt, Alfred? A little, Mr. Donatelli. They should hurt a lot. Okay. Now. Time. 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 3 minutes of shadowboxing, 1 minute of rest. 3 minutes of shadowboxing, 1 minute of rest. Time. Time. Until he woke up moaning one night, his arms as heavy as cement sacks, his fingers numb. Charlene was at the foot of his bed. She looked scared. Should I wake up Mama, Alfred? No. Go back on to sleep. I had a bad dream. It must have been terrible. Left, left, right, left. Harder, harder, faster. Snap it out. Left, right. Come on, come on. The second week was worse. Bud yelled at him to stay up on the balls of his feet, and Donatelli told him to keep his chin tucked against his chest. Even Dr. Corey had his 2 cents worth. Never take your eyes off the peanut bag, Alfred. Sit-ups, push-ups, deep knee bends. Angel and Jose, the Puerto Rican boys, cackled like hens when the medicine ball knocked him over like a 10-pin. Denny grinned and threw it again harder, but Alfred was braced and ready. It only staggered him. He could barely lift his arms up to his locker after workouts. Twice that week he fell asleep before dinner. At dawn, the alarm clock buzzed him awake like an angry rattlesnake. That Sunday, after the morning service, Aunt Pearl marched him up to Reverend Price. She told him that Alfred needed guidance. He didn't like the way the Reverend looked down at him, scratching his big jaws as if he were a school kid. But somewhere, deep in his aching muscles, a tiny voice was praying that Reverend Price would make him quit. What seems to be our problem, Sister Conway? Has Alfred strayed from the path of righteousness? He's boxing, Reverend. Oh, said the preacher, his eyes moving around the room, his voice getting big. Youth is a time of great physical energy, sister, and of curiosity. This is a passing phase. He'll soon grow tired of this meaningless pursuit and devote his left, faster, attaboy. Pick it up, chin in, right, snap it out. By the middle of the 3rd week, the pain began to fade. He rushed through his exercises just to get in front of that mirror and to shoot out those jabs straight out hard until the little shocks in his shoulder told him that the punches were straight and true. Spoon came up that week, and they all watched him spar a few rounds with the heavyweights, Jelly and Pete Crackover. Dr. Corey said that Spoon looked better than Willie Streeter did that night at the garden. Spoon worked with Alfred on the heavy bag, showing him how to keep his wrists straight, but relaxed so he could hit hard without hurting himself. But Spoon worked with Angel and Jose, too, and there were some days when no one looked at him but Henry. He started waking up before the alarm that week, fresher in the morning, stronger. The hour in the park was the best time of the day. It sometimes seemed as if he could run forever, showing his heels to the friendly policemen, waving at other runners. He wished he had someone to run with, someone like James, a partner, pacing him over the wet grass and over the gravel, sprinting across the deserted roadways, dropping back into a jog on the dirt paths. He'd even slow down for James. Someday, he thought, old James would come out from behind a tree howling like Mowgli of the jungle, and he'd wink at Bad Brooks and fall into step. They had seen a movie like that once. 2 cowboy brothers who had a fight, and at the end they joined up again, riding into town together to face the gang. They won that, too. The thought would make Alfred sad, and he'd speed up until he pushed it out of his mind. Henry was the nearest he had to a partner now, and Henry would never know how good it could feel when a running wind chilled the sweat in your hair. At breakfast, Aunt Pearl would make some comment about his huge appetite eating them out into the street, but she smiled when she said it. And then he went to work. Jake was still going to the bank in the afternoons, but Alfred couldn't get bothered about it, not when he felt his muscles flex every time he stacked the canned goods or lifted a box. Even the worst part of the job, carrying out the loaded garbage cans, didn't seem so bad when the muscles across his back and shoulders rippled and tensed. They'd always rippled and tensed, but now even lugging garbage cans was part of the training, of getting into shape. There was a lull one afternoon, and there were no customers in the store, and Alfred began throwing the hook at his reflection on the door of the steel food locker. He just knocked out Jose, Angel, and Denny. 1, 2, 3, when old Lou wandered into the back room. What's this, Alfred? Sorry, Mr. Epstein, I was just... From the shoulder it has to come. The power's here. He tapped a bony shoulder and shuffled his feet and threw a slow but graceful left hook. You want to be a boxer? Yes, I'm training at Donatelli's gym. Good man, Donatelli. Ask him about Lou Epstein someday. Hey, are you lightning Lou Ep? How'd you know? Bud Martin talked about you. He said you were the real good, but you cut too easy. A slow smile spread across Lou's thin face. You remembered, eh? A good cut man, Bud Martin, one of the best. How long you been training? About 3 weeks. Forget it. I would tell my own son the same thing, especially my own son. Forget it. Why? Lou sat down on a packing case. He rubbed a small red sore on the top of his bald head. Why? I'll tell you, Alfred. Once it was something, boxing. There were dozens of fight clubs in the city. You could see a good fight every night of the week. Irish fighters, Italian, Jewish fighters, then Negro fighters. There were enough matches for anybody who wanted to fight. No more. Even a good fighter can't make a living out of it. You know why? People aren't interested in going to fights? Part of it, said Lou. Television came in and used the same fighters over and over again. A few got rich, and the rest had to get jobs. And even the rich ones lost their money. The racketeers, the crooked matchmakers, the rotten managers, just... Mr. Donatelli's not like that. He... Sure, said Lou, raising a spidery hand. Donatelli's 1 in a million. That's why he has to sleep in a room by the gym. Boxing people don't like to do business with an honest man. And another thing, the kids these days aren't interested in learning to fight. It's hard work. Nobody wants to work no more. Who knows? Maybe they're right. He stood up. See that friend of yours, James Mosley, anymore? Not for a long time. Okay. You tell Bud hello for me. Donatelli, too. Off your heels, faster. Left, right. Snap it out. Jab, hook, jab, harder. He began to lose track of the days. They rolled off like perspiration. Up at dawn, run, breakfast, work, the gym, home, dinner, television, sleep. Sometimes on Fridays or Saturdays he went to the movies with Henry and Jelly, but it wasn't like going to the movies with James. Henry just sat there, his mouth open, staring at the screen, and Jelly was always jumping up for candy or ice cream. Not like the old days when Alfred would follow James up to the corner of the balcony and root for the monster and cheer the Indians and afterward change the ending of the picture if they didn't like how it came out. In late July, Aunt Pearl went to the Elversons' summer house and left the girls in Queens with Dorothy and Wilson. The apartment seemed large and empty. Now he could sleep late on Sundays, and sometimes he slept right through the day, getting up only to eat and doze in front of the television set. Then Monday, and dawn, and the alarm clock. The peanut bag was easy. Once he got the rhythm, he could stand under it all day, making it sound like a machine gun. Henry would watch him, grinning as if he was really doing something, but Donatelli would walk by without even looking. Alfred could hear the manager think, the bag doesn't have arms to hit you back with. Real good speed on the bag, Alfred, said Henry. Anybody can do that, said Alfred. Henry looked away. Left. Hook, shift, hook, jab, right. Open your mouth, said Dr. Corey one day, shoving in a white plastic mouthpiece. When you're ready for your first fight, I'll make you a custom-fitted one. Arrgh. Alfred gagged and spat it out. Jelly slapped his knee, and Denny laughed. Again, said Dr. Corey, I can't breathe. You'll have to breathe through your nose. Quick, sharp breaths, said Spoon. In, out. That's the way. He gagged for half an hour, but then he got it, and he went back to the mirror, up on the balls of his feet. Quick little steps, forward on the jab, sideways for the hook. Da, dum, quick and easy. Time, called Donatelli, passing by. Your footwork's coming along, but this is no dancing class. Snap that jab out. Harder. And when the workout was over and every muscle shrieked, there was nothing like standing under the shower, the hot shower, drowning all the ache, closing your eyes, tilting your face up into it. What are you drinking? It, Alfred? Come on. There are 5 guys out here waiting to get in. He ran into Major one night as he was coming home from the gym. Hey, Alfred, how you been? Okay. Don't run off, man. Wait a minute. We never see you around the clubhouse no more. Been busy. Yeah, I heard you're working out. Say, man, you're not still sore about that little misunderstanding we had. I was just trying you out. Sure. Well, come around, said Major. Sure. I mean it. James comes by once in a... James around? Said Alfred. Sometimes. I'll let you know. Do that. Willie Streeter came back to the gym, sullen and overweight. Donatelli took him to a training camp in the mountains for 10 days, tried to get him in shape for an out-of-town fight. The temperature in the gym sometimes reached 101 degrees, and everyone started snapping at each other. One day, Pete Krakow threw a boxing shoe at Jelly. Use your own trunks, fat meat. Jelly looked up